Throughout human history, the appearance of luminous orbs in the sky has ignited wonder, fear, and speculation. These ethereal lights, hovering, darting, or pulsing with a strange intelligence, transcend folklore and defy easy categorization. They challenge our understanding of reality itself, stirring questions about consciousness, dimensions, and the unknown forces shaping our existence. What if these phenomena are not mere anomalies, but deliberate messages, encoded in light and mystery? Amid the myriad of accounts of contact and unexplained encounters, few are as polarizing or profound as the story of Chris Bledsoe. His journey took a dramatic turn in 2008 with an extraordinary event. An encounter not just with luminous orbs, but with its occupants.
Behind me, 4 feet behind me, is this little translucent, glowing toddler, no higher than that. It's glowing the color of the moon, like the moon, that soft white glow. But it was so shiny on the outside. The outer surface of this being was shiny like glass, gleaming. And underneath this shirt, or whatever it had on, was a triangle shaped like a triangle. Very important symbol to some people in the government.
My grandpa immediately told me when I got to his house, he said, "Boy, your daddy's been smoking dope in the woods and he's been seeing green booger men." I was like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" And he said he's been going crazy. He's been seeing green booger men in the woods. Keep in mind that we were a very tight Christian family, and not just our immediate family, but our whole extended family, the community really. And the way that we were taught was that there is no such thing as aliens or even ghosts. And as far as I knew, my dad, my siblings, my whole family, we didn't believe in any of this stuff. So when he's talking to me about these things, I know he's coming from somewhere pretty serious.
See what looked like bright stars, that were scattered across the tree line. And you could just see them descending slowly.
And then a couple of them shoot down over the side of the river.
And it just like dropping, like I said, it looked like a piece of hot steel or something,
They were orangish, and then you could see separate other colors.
It was orange and maybe yellow.
I remember being one on the left, right, one in the middle, and one toward the left.
From that tree to this tree, they were right there. You could see them just perfect right there.
We're sitting there looking at this, and then 3 of these things come out of the sky all the way to the ground and landed in front of us on the other side of the river.
And that's when it freaked me out. And I was like, "Hey guys, look, y'all see them? Y'all see these?"
I got some paranoia to open my pocket knife.
And that's when the panic set in,
Okay, we gotta go.
And we all jumped in my truck, leaving fishing poles and everything. And I had to jam on the brakes because in front of us now are the same 3 orbs, but 2 of them are in the exact same spot. The first 2 red balls of fire, but the third one that appeared, it came down as the one that took me for 4 hours. Now it's sitting in the road, blocking our path to the highway.
There was a light right on. It was a big light.
It was just another big glowing light.
It was like a...
But then, like I said, it just kind of just...
Hold your hand up like that, kind of try to remember it.
Well, from a distance, I could put my hand around it like that, maybe.
It's about 5 feet off the ground, just sitting there, hovering. And it looked like an egg or a football laying on its side. Standing up, but like something. It was more like a tic-tac sort of. I crawled, dragging that gun under these trees until I got about 20 feet from that orb, 20, maybe 30 feet. And the electricity from it, the buzz, the static, my whole body felt like needles. The hair was standing up and every goosebump on me was just tingling. And the energy was so strong, I couldn't go any closer. I just turned around and I backed away. And I got to the pine trees where the fence was crunched. I stood up and I went to step over that fence. And the minute I went to step over that fence, there were 2 of these beings just appeared right in front of me. They're standing like 3 feet from me and just enough gap I could walk between them. And immediately I felt this shame come over me. Shame that I had this rifle. Why I brought this to fight something that there ain't no fighting, right? So I took the gun and I tried to hide it behind me.
And what they put in my head was what changed me. From that point on, I never hunted again. I don't harm bugs. I have a way with animals now nobody understands.
And what followed was a cascade of disbelief and ostracism, as his family became the target of ridicule, relegated to the fringes of their community. This eventually inspired Chris to write his best-selling book, UFO of God. In it, he recounts the events that upended his life. But more importantly, he unpacks the spiritual and existential questions those experiences forced him to confront. Bledsoe's story isn't just about UFOs or alien craft. It explores the deeply spiritual, intertwining divine intervention, ancient archetypes, mysterious healing abilities, prophetic messages, and even a burning tree.
This tree just spontaneously combusted in our backyard.
It's a modern-day odyssey. But this is no mere personal account. Bledsoe's experiences have captured the attention of powerful institutions, including the US government, and even the Vatican. Why would agencies rooted in geopolitics and theology take an interest in a rural man's encounters with orbs? Could the truths here be so profound that they might blur the lines between science and religion?
The thing that constantly attaches itself to you is this idea that there are people from the CIA, Tim Taylor from NASA, who've taken an extremely close interest in what you have seen and done.
Right, exactly. And a whole lot more. There's quite a few more agencies that's involved in that.
So what are they doing?
They wanted to see it.
I've heard corroboration from people who've been with you who say they can confirm they've seen this phenomena happening right in front of them.
I will tell you this, and I can't say the names on TV here because of respect, and it's not time yet. But just during Easter, I had 8 of the most scientists, PhDs, all that run their departments. And if I said their names, you'd know real quick who they are. They all came and they all had experiences with me. They went right back to Washington, D.C. One of the ladies was in Congress. She's on the board. She's part of the UAP board. She was at my house and experienced this with me. She stood up and testified. Luis Elizondo is a friend of mine, and he has metamaterial that it was me that got it for. I got this metal for Tom DeLong and Lou Elizondo. They probably got a few pieces on their own, but what they got of mine, I had some. And it's metal. It looks like if you took solder and you were melting solder and it drips, that's what it looks like. It comes off these orbs, dripping metal. I had a whole bunch of it, 3 or 4 pieces, and they all got it. I don't have any more. I wish I did, because I was told if I had another piece, it'd be worth $1 billion. But I got a nice little letter saying, sorry, the U.S. government, the military took this stuff and classified it. There's no getting it back. That metal has fundamentally changed parts of our medical industry. They use it. Tim Taylor does. He has 50 patents or more. And most all of them are medical patents. And it derives from this material. A lot of it does. The magic properties of it. One of the pieces of metals we were studying had the isotopes rate of decay at 50 million light years away, meaning that metal came from 50 million light years to Earth. And he said, you think that they crash? They come that far? They don't crash. He said it was a gift to humanity.
Now, everybody, this is it. This is what you come to see. All right, let your hair stand up. Let your heart flow. Watch it disappear now. You understand, as I'm praying about the Holy Mother, she shows herself.
Have you seen the shit Chris Bledsoe does with the orbs?
I've heard of it. I'm not that familiar with it. I know
he summons orbs. Summon's a bad word. He invites the orbs.
Yes, but he's also been intercepted by Jim Semivan, who's the CIA operative.
Exactly. This is another thing. This is crazy. There's so many layers to this.
I know.
Right? I know that he has been. The crazy thing about this guy is I had him on the podcast over a year ago, and he is somehow able to invite these orbs, which I've personally witnessed with him on the beach a mile away from here. Me and Steve both, we filmed it. We have the video. It's real. But at the same time, there's CIA,
NRO, NASA people coming and visiting him and befriending him and going to his kids' baseball game or football games.
Yeah, I know.
And literally, it is almost exactly like the Paul Benowitz story.
I agree. And here's the problem. Anything that is of an extraterrestrial phenomenon can be simulated by these covert humans.
Orbs are beings. It's a created intelligent being that watches us, that monitors all life on this planet. That's what they do.
So that would be like the little humanoid beings that you saw 18 years ago tomorrow. Those are what come out of...
Yes. Yeah. And the cool thing is I have video of that. So nobody can tell me I'm not right about it. Everybody's wondering, how did you get into NASA? Why were you there? Why were you studying with them? What was their interest in me? Why did they need me? When I ask them, why do you need me? Why do you want me here? You've got rockets, you've got space shuttles, you've got satellites, you've got the space station, all the money and technology and telescopes in the world. And they're like, we know they like you and they communicate with you and they don't have nothing to do with us at all. And we'd like to know why, what it is they want, and why it is they're harassing their astronaut.
Harassing them?
Harassing them. So has any astronauts ever seen an orb? All of them.
No way.
All of them.
Really?
Yep.
So how do they see them? How do they appear to them?
They would appear outside the space shuttle, look in the windows at them, stand up over the shuttle bay or the space station, glowing. Sometimes there's a report of a half a dozen of them 125 feet tall with wings, standing there smiling at them. Wow. So for 18 years, I never taught about this, and this is the first time publicly.
So we're talking about things that come out of the orbs.
Angels, angelic beings, created beings. They're made of energy, but in a ball of light. But out of that ball of light comes a glowing being. Sometimes they're 6-7 feet tall or taller.
Or 125 feet tall.
Yep. As far out as this sounds, I'm telling you, it sounds crazy. And it took me 2 weeks to tell it because they all labeled me crazy, and I stopped talking about it. Now 5 years later, this happens. And what happened was it handed me this object, and it felt like a living creature, like a squirrel maybe, or something that size, but I couldn't see or feel legs or a head. It felt just like a tube, but furry and kind of prickly. And handed it to me and said, you must keep this. Immediately I drop it because I know what it was, and it was prickly. And its words came again, no, you must pick this up, you must keep this. So I reached down and picked it up. When I did, this being that was standing there is now gone. And I'm at the dog kennel, so I'm juggling it in my hand. I know I need to see what this thing is. It's dark, so I opened the kennel and put it in and closed the door. And the very second I did that, this blast air come directed. It wasn't in the woods and around us. It was right straight in front of me. A blast air hits me and blew me over. The wind. Later on, I understood the Holy Spirit. The word spirit means the wind. The Holy Spirit means the breath of God. Physical force blew me over, and as I hit backwards on the ground, I saw what appeared to be a translucent cow, a bull, run over me, and I could see stars inside of it, up through it, right? Something I just saw, discovered with a guy that studies Egypt, Dr. Robert Grant.
You worked with Robert Grant?
Robert Grant is who I was with last at Contact in the Desert a couple months back, and Robert was showing the Oculus to me about what he had discovered in the pyramid. So he put these goggles on and he does his LiDAR, and their biggest daylight is a bull on the side of the wall in the king's chamber. You only can see it with this technology he has, and the stars are inside. And above it is a helix of DNA. And then on the sarcophagus in the king's chamber is the Alpha and Omega symbol.
What do you think that represents?
Well, Alpha and Omega is God, the beginning and the end. The bull is the celestial bull. To me, the lady that came to me is the Holy Spirit. The breath of God, the wind, the Virgin Mary, Hathor, Demeter, Diana, her body. In every culture, on every continent, they all have a mother figure, all of them, including the Egyptians. And it doesn't matter in Christianity or in any religion, none of us really know. So
And you received a prophecy about 2026 as well, right?
Yeah.
And what was that?
Well, she said, and I had no idea what it meant, still don't, other than she said that when the star of Regulus, which is a blue star, when it appears red on the horizon at the dawn before the sun comes up, and the gaze of the Sphinx, in other words, I saw it in a vision, the whole thing, you can see the Sphinx facing east, and this thing's just cresting the top. She said, when that happens, that will be a sign that ushers in a new knowledge for humanity. So does that mean the return of Jesus or the return of Christ consciousness? It could, and I think that's possible. It marks a sign, she said, where the darkness would be exposed and the truth would be revealed. I gave them the date of 2026 because they took that celestial event and ran it through these machines that showed that exact alignment will happen in 2026 at Easter. Well, I had no idea if this was even possible, but these astronomers run it through the machines and it comes out that star is going to come up on the horizon in Easter of 2026. And from that point forward, they started remote viewing the state, government did. And now you hear it all over TV. 2026, that's the big date. 2027, that year, something's going to happen. Armageddon, you hear it all over, you hear it on TV. If you study, like, I've heard even, well, I won't say names, but.
Please do.
And it was with Robert Grant that I told him about this alignment and all, and then he's like, oh my God. He's been looking for this ruby, this little ruby you have to find and place it between the paws of the Sphinx to make this event that he knows is going to happen in 2026. I said, Robert, it's not a ruby, it's the star of Regulus. So he looks at it, he's like, oh my God, it's the king star. What's going to happen, I don't know. But I think it's possible that's the return of
Christ.
Yeah. Or the lady and the whole heavenly host. She told me that when the suffering of man becomes too great, that they're going to stop it and they're going to snuff out the darkness. That's why the military and the government all want to know about this, because they know it's real. They know this lady has been seen 1,000,000 times. And when she comes, she's always warning of some big catastrophe. In the Native American world, they call her the White Buffalo Calf Lady.
I can't help but connect several pieces of Chris's story to the recent whistleblower testimony of Jake Barber, an Air Force veteran who claims to have assisted in the retrieval of alien craft for the government, who also describes an egg-like craft and recalls a strong presence of a divine feminine.
I felt like I was possessed by the most beautiful spirit I've ever been possessed by.
Could this be the same entity? Or possibly even related to past religious events like the 1917 sightings of Our Lady of Fatima in Portugal,
like Panther from one place to another place,
where a lady described as brighter than the sun appeared 6 times to a group of children, and during the final apparition, on October 13th, 1917, she was witnessed by over 70,000 people, including skeptics and journalists, and it was documented as, suddenly the clouds parted and the sun appeared as a spinning multicolored disc, zigzagging across the sky and seemingly plunging towards Earth before returning to its normal position. The event, later called the Miracle of the Sun, was witnessed up to 40 kilometers away. This lady had also imparted the children with 3 secrets, the last of which was kept secret by the Vatican until the year 2000, but many speculate is still incomplete. Sister Lucia, the last surviving visionary, was kept under strict Vatican supervision for decades, limiting what she could say publicly. And Father Malachi Martin, a former Vatican insider, claimed that the 3rd secret was so terrifying that its release would cause panic. Could this be why the government and the Vatican have taken such an interest into Chris's story?
It's been lied to. It's been washed away for 2,000 years. Our church, I think, has decided they want to keep control over what we believe.
It's a common thing to see in the news. They want to control our belief system. They want to control the way we think and the way we worship and so on. So yeah, why not scare people into something they don't want you involved in? But if you were on my property or I was at your house and I stood out beside you and said a prayer and asked the Holy Spirit to reveal her presence to us, and suddenly these balls of light comes out of the sky, you would understand real quick, really quick. It would change your whole life completely. And I've done that. I've helped facilitate that with hundreds and hundreds of people. And so the proof is in the evidence. I have more evidence, data, recorded data than probably anybody, anywhere.
You really do have a ton. I was blown away by, first of all, that it was like the Orbs showed up on cue. And I know that's not new for you, but, you know, I was impressed. I was like, are the Orbs paid actors? This is crazy. And then what really additionally impressed me was the EEG results, the neurotechnology that there was like a doctor, a researcher, and like a neuroscientist or something. And that they studied your brain waves while you were observing, communicating with the Orbs. And they said that it was right in line with people who meditate for years, like Buddhist monks, that the level of activity in your brain, I don't know all the technicalities of it, but I thought that, wow, that's so interesting, because you don't even claim to be a meditator.
No, I don't really do that. I guess I do in my own way, but I've never done any protocol or been to any classes about it. But what it is, I really believe when they took me for 4 hours in 2007, they did something to me. What they did, they're trying to still figure out.